Um, Wind is very useful, but it's subtle. And we're going to do a couple experiments with the idea of wind. And I'll show you the first one. I'm going to try to show you an object moving with wind from a wand. Just have to move this back a bit. Okay, you can't see it yet. There. And then you do shit. Okay. I have to aim it properly. Or it won't move. The plastic next to it is moving because it's kind of moving. Believe it or not, it doesn't work like this. Because it's also a very heavy object. Also, you can feel a slight breeze around you after you do it. It's actually kind of hilarious. It's just wind. But the point is that the ability can have micro support effects on this. This is harder. On the surroundings. And the breeze it creates affects in tiny amounts the surrounding objects, but evidently does wait, that's not going to work. This, okay. This will work if I lined up right above it, but this is the best way. Yeah, this thing is fun. I'm going to try to show you an object moving with wind from a wand. Just have to move this back a bit. Okay, you can't see it yet. There. And then you do shit. Okay. I have to aim it properly. Or it won't move. The plastic next to it is moving because it's kind of moving. Believe it or not, it doesn't work like this. Because it's also a very heavy object. Also, you can feel a slight breeze around you after you do it. It's actually kind of hilarious. It's just wind. But the point is that micro support effects on this is harder on the surroundings and the breeze it creates affects in tiny amounts the surrounding objects, but evidently does that's not going to work. This. Okay. This will work if I lined up right above it. But this is the best way. Yeah. This thing is fun. Actually feels quite cold in the area surrounding this thing, and nowhere near as cold over here, but there's like a slight breeze in my house now. So, whoops. Micro tornadoes. In the same sense as when we tried to see if light had an effect on mass, I'm going to try to create a means to have wind affect the environment rather than trying to find it as evidence in reality. Because while the pom-pom thing moved the ball of fluff, there's no way to link like a wave of that wand thing to an event that happened elsewhere. Like you can say the wind did it, but it doesn't actually show that it did. So I need to develop a way not to to ensure that that's a possibility, and we can use the ideas of wind and the outside to see what it could and can't do, and then try to take it into our control rather than not. Yeah, we'll do that. I'll be back. It's going to argue that the mind has an effect on the coincidence of the result. So like when the wind is blown, it then causes something to occur, simply because the wind lines up with the thought because of the specter stuff around me, which is connected to the mind, and mental thoughts pass by, and when you have one in your head and then it's gone out into the world, and it has taken a spot in it, and then the wind meets up with that position and it is affected by it in a causal way that makes sense if it is possible in that position. But there's no way to link up even the wind from your position to somewhere else, and I'm not even sure if that matters for that. But because I don't feel like just using coincidence, and I feel like being of more interest and more use, I'm going to try to find a way to control the idea of that with material matter rather than coincidence. So, yeah. Same with sound and light. Like words, they echo, and they contain nothing really, they're just vibration. But vibration causes a change, and sometimes that change lines up with the thought, and that was the idea. And same with light, in that light takes on the shape of something,
and lines up in other places with the same or similar shapes manipulated by the thought. And that's like, it's very similar to like any other kind of magic, and that's not what I'm looking for. So, yeah. So while the wand will make wind, it doesn't necessarily cause a coincidence to occur with the wind, even though it creates wind. And like I'll show you another example that I did, and it's not completely accurate, but it like you can argue causality, but you can't show causality in it. And that will at least show where the uncertainty of the entire idea is, and how we can improve that rather than just believe on the basis of cuz I don't know, I like improving the ability rather than just running with what is, or cuz. So yeah, I'll be back.
Okay. This thing, we're going to move it in the direction we want this thing to go. It has several possible directions it can travel in. From where you dropped it, it went all the way over here. Simply because of its shape. I'm not going to decide which direction or anything that I throw it in. And we're going to see if this will make it go in the direction I want it to. And it may go every time I do it, but at some point it's not going to do it unless I'm really lucky, or this always works. And like, you can even argue that sometimes it doesn't because of physicality. Physicality doesn't match up with the thought and the wind of it. But like, yeah, I don't know. That's what I'm saying, is I can't tell. So, I guess this would be the best place to do it. Throw, went in the opposite direction. Over here now. That is a great thing, but maybe it's belief and my disbelief. So let's try believing. Oh, look, it went that way. Okay. I don't know if you can see this on here, but nope, went the opposite direction. It tends to go in the shape, or travel in the shape it's going, or in the same shape as its shape. But yeah, let's try again. It might be a timing thing too. I don't know. See, like that time it did it, and this time it's gonna go that way. Oh, it did. But it's not repeatable. It's like kind of repeatable. So it's either, and kind of repeatable isn't like the best thing. That's what I'm getting at. See, like that time it didn't do it. It went over here. Oh, maybe that was a timing thing because I did it wrong. But see, like that's the thing. I have no idea. Yeah. And that is the thing about unfalsifiable claims, is that they might work, but only because they aren't successful in their approach. I don't even know if that was before or after it hit the floor. See? I don't know. Oh, it stopped that time. Cool. Let's try using words too. Forward. Okay, it just stopped. And went slightly to the left. right. I went left, but I swung it left, but I said right. Okay, enough. But what is that? Is it perhaps water vapor that can be seen with the naked eye? Let's find out. Already tested it, but we're gonna do that again. A triangle. I can't see the triangle except on the camera because I'm making it appear in front of the camera. I don't even know if I said anything on the time. Oh, look, a triangle. Let's try a different shape. Rotating cube. Tell if that's sufficient. Like, it did make triangles, and like you could see something rotating in the smoke in the last couple frames before my phone ran out of storage. But at best it suggests that your mind can make images in smoke, and thus visualizations like the I don't know, smiley face in the background there could have an effect at some point, or affect the environment. Like, I don't know. I don't know if a smiley face has more of an effect except for its shape. But like I don't know. I'm still improvising here. I just like I kind of thought maybe you could do that. I wasn't expecting it to work. At least partially successfully. I also tried music, but I wasn't able to record it. The music was, there were wolves running around, but yeah. Yeah. I didn't show that because it was someone's song. But yeah. Want to do that, don't smoke. Buy a smoke machine, or use a fire, or like some other way. Like, you could also just toss sand in the air and see where the sand particles land in the air before they fall to the ground. That would work too, if the idea makes sense, which I imagine it would work, given that the sort of I kind of had this theory before, but I didn't test it, so I called it scaffolding, and that the appearance of what it did seems to suggest it does behave like scaffolding, where it's like it's almost like a bounce off of something, but it's not a physical bounce, and it permeates the air as a sort of invisible geometry. Yeah, well, I don't know how long this video is yet. I think it's getting there though, and I will try to find one more thing we can do now that we've seen that scaffolding has some kind of effect on the
thing. I don't know, it certainly works. Like, yeah, because it was a triangle and it happened when I didn't cough. And then it stopped when I said rotating cube. I don't know. Maybe I'm just extremely skeptical of things. But yeah. These books a really long time ago and I didn't read them. I'm gonna open them to random pages and see what happens. For the sake of reference and like credentials and stuff, because people wrote these books and whatnot, I'll show you which page I got it from. This page, this page, and this page. Jeez, that's creepy. But this page, I don't know what they're about. Okay, I don't know what these are about, but I'll be back after I read what they're about. And that's where I got the idea from, in case you were wondering. I read one page, so I probably don't really actually know what I'm talking about, but I learned basically the beginnings of pareidolia in children from this. That's like the details that you bring up in a concept when you look at an object and you start detailing the various properties of it, like the shadow, the light, and all that, which you didn't notice until I brought it up, but now you can see it very clearly because it's in the language and the descriptions and whatnot. The other thing I learned from the Chaos book is that size is a relative concept and isn't directly based on what, like, you define it as, but how you define it. So this pom-pom only weighs the way it does because we say it does based off of our measuring tools that we developed. And I'm talking really fast because my phone storage is almost done and I won't be able to continue this video until I post it. So I'll be back next video. I would wait till the next video before making any conclusions.